Hello and welcome to Legal and guys. And how are you? I hope that everyone is fine. And today we have a cricket lover, we have a cricket enthusiast. John Spinney is here with us, and he's really popular on Twitter with his cricket updates, cricket tweets. So, hello, Johns. How are you?
I'm really fine. I'm from Kerala. I completed engineering, so it's a pleasure to work in these cricket areas and updates. I get these news from different sources like Times of India or Cricket Info, Cricket Buzz, etc. So I am really happy to come into this channel to talk cricket with you. Really looking forward to the chat. Really excited as well to talk cricket in this platform and looking forward to the final between New Zealand versus Australia in the T20 World Cup 2021 final.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I guess tomorrow's match is going to be a really big match because both teams have nerves of steel. I guess because one side Matthew Wade and Marcus Stoinis just bamboozles Pakistan, and from other side Darren Mitchell and James Nisham comes and destroys England. So I guess tomorrow's match is gonna be one of the great we can see. What do you think about that?
Yes, it's going to be exciting. No one predicted India, Australia versus New Zealand final in the T20 World Cup. So two teams from nowhere after losing the Bangladesh series. Both the teams lost that series and coming into the World Cup, they had lots of issues as a team. Some flexible issues, some injuries. Some of the key players was coming after a long period, etc. So really looking forward to the final. Hopefully, a last draw finish as well, like what happened in the semi-finals. So really exciting times, especially the World Cup is happening after 5 year gap. So after the 2016 Carlos Brathwaite 4 6s against Ben Stokes, I'm really looking forward to the final. Hopefully a similar finish, we can see a last ball thriller or a super over, etc. So looking forward to the final.
Yeah, you are right that Carlos Brathwaite movement was just magical because no one expected that 24 runs in just four balls, and it will be World Cup for West Indies. So, as you know that a lot of things like we expected about India and other teams did not expect like turned out to be what we thought. Like India will qualify to semi-finals, will win the trophy, and every day uh, celebrations will be there. So, how do you think that like what did go wrong in that way?
I think if you look at the first match, India versus Pakistan, it was Shaheen's that new ball spell was a big game changer. If that didn't happen, I would have definitely said India would have been qualifying to the semi-final. That 1 over changed the momentum and that affected the next match as well. If you look at the New Zealand match, India was really reluctant to play shots. India was, I would say, India was afraid. I would say, if you look from the first over against spinners in the middle phase, you saw the Mitchell and etc. They should have attacked more. They should have shown more intent. Even I would say more painful was watching India versus New Zealand than India versus Pakistan, because India versus Pakistan, India showed some intent, even though even after losing the both the openers to Shaheen Shafridi, Surya Kumar Yadav showed some intent. Virat Kohli showed, and there was a very good partnership as well between Rishabh Pant and Virat Kohli. Even though India didn't make that much runs, but they showed some what they can do even after losing 1 or 2 wickets. But coming to New Zealand match, it was really painful to watch. India didn't show any intent, and India was restricted to 110. So it was really painful to watch. And India came back strongly in next three matches, which was not surprising because India had the team. We all know what they have done over the years. They just lost one bilateral series in the captaincy of Virat Kohli during this phase. So they have played some very good cricket. It was just one bad night, I would say, and we shouldn't blame bowlers as well. The matches India lost. coming to New Zealand match, they had just 110 something to defend, and coming to Pakistan match, it was not a 150 wicket. It was a very good wicket. It was 170, 180 wicket. So we shouldn't be putting blame towards the bowlers much, even though India lost by 10 wickets. Batters was really disappointing in first two matches, especially in the New Zealand match, which India should have won and made into the semi-final.
You are right that just one night and it all changed for India. And I was also disappointed as a fan because you know that everyone wants that India should go to the final and like lift the trophy for the second time. But do you think that, as you mentioned, one just like one night and everything just started to go in a different way? So do you think that India got a lot of like hyped by media, and as well as they got overconfident that okay, we can beat Pakistan, we have like beaten them 5 times, so is it easy for them to like go through the match and like we'll win it? So what do you think about that?
If India, whenever India plays cricket, there will be hype, especially if you look at the track record of Indian team over the years in T20 format or even any format. First, if you take out Test, India won the series in Australia. India is leading the Test series in England as well. So India has been playing very good cricket. Apart from these ICC Champions trophies in the knockout stages, so India has shown what they can do over the years. The talent pool they have, the depth of Indian cricket. So there will be hype. But the disappointing part was, especially in the New Zealand game, as I mentioned earlier, they didn't show any Indian as a batting team. They should have won that match. I would say easily as well. The same team India beat in New Zealand 5-0 in the T20 format, and coming to the ICC Champions Trophy, they should have played much more better cricket. Even though India lost the toss, but still India had the team to defend the total or make some very good totals while batting first.
You are right that New Zealand match, we got a little bit nervous, or let's say we lost the intent to like match the intensity of New Zealand because I see India, like if we see selectors made some interesting choices which were not like everyone thought that okay, this player will get it. But I do you think that this World Cup was just about names of the players than the performance of the players in the recent time? Because as we can see, Varun Chakravarti, for example, or Hardik Pandya, they did not perform to up to their potential like we know them for. So, what do you think about that?
From selection point of view, it was surprising that there was no UC Chaha in the team. Apart from that, almost everyone should have walked into the 50-member squad. The one selection was UC Chahal. And coming to Hardik Pandya, because we don't have that much fast bowling all rounders. And the finishers as well. If you take out Indian domestic cricket or IPL, IPL especially, if you look at most of the teams, the finishing role has been done by overseas players. It's not that finishing role are done by Indian players. So apart from Hardik, Jadeja, maybe one or two guys, other teams has most of the done work are done by overseas players. So India does not have that luxury in that department. So they trusted Hardik Pandya even though he didn't come well, because we don't have that kind of X factor players. We have Venkatesh Iyer or Harshad Patel or Rashid Dhawan or a few other guys as well. But the quality of Hardik Pandya brings into the table is different level. We have seen over the years how well Hardik has been batting and bowling for Team India. Apart from the last 1 year when he had the back issues, sometimes he was out of the team, etc. So it was tough for Hardik. Hopefully he can come back because India needs him badly in the limited off format moving into the 2022 World Cup and 2023 ODI World Cup. And other name is Varun Chakravarti. We all know what he has done well for what he has done for KKR in last two IPL. He has been the best spinner in India in spinners. So They trusted him, even though he has fitness issues as a player. But if you look at the matches he bowled, there was not much runs to defend. Like against Pakistan, it was around 150, 140. Then against New Zealand, it was around 110. So he don't have that runs to defend that might have caused him as a player and playing, because he hasn't played much. India didn't had that number of games coming into the T20 World Cup as a group. They played IPL, but they were playing the 5 match test series in England, so they didn't have that game time that might have affected. But these are not excuses, I would say, because if you look at the Australian team, they haven't played as a core unit this year. They went to Bangladesh with a C team or B team against West Indies. They didn't had the IPL players, but they made to the World Cup T20 World Cup semi-finals. So India should have done better. Hopefully, they'll be coming back with under the new captain and new coach. They'll be putting a better show in Australia next year in the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, you are right that, of course, India has a new captain now, and as you mentioned that about new coach and new captain, that I will talk about later. But the question which I want to ask you now, that as you told about New Zealand, who do you see tomorrow as the winner between Australia and New Zealand? Because it's a mouth-watering match, and everyone knows that both are quality sides. And even though New Zealand has a setback, that Devon Convoy, who was their middle order link, has been ruled out. So, how do you see that will affect New Zealand tomorrow?
I think Australia start as the favorite for the final because they have better unit than New Zealand. But it all depends on the toss. If New Zealand wins the toss, then it will be even match contest. It will be 50-50 something, or some 45 to 55 for New Zealand. But if Australia wins, I think it will be tough for New Zealand to come back because Australia has those players who has in different departments better than New Zealand. If you look at the team on the paper or playing 11, but it all toss will be a big factor. If you look at the record in Dubai during the World Cup, just one match has been won by the defending team. Apart from that, all the matches has been won by chasing team. So the toss will be a big factor. I really hope New Zealand wins the toss because it will be then final will be really exciting and it might go into the last over or last ball. But if Australia wins the toss, it will be really tough for New Zealand to come back unless someone produces a magical effort or they're having one of their greatest days in their cricket career.
You are right that Australia, as you mentioned, that Australia has a better unit than New Zealand. But who do you think that makes their unit more stronger than other players in the Australian team right now?
I think Warner will be making a big impact because if you look at if Warner can get over that power play phase, the New Zealand has a one left arm spinner with Mitchell Sander and they have a leg spinner with Ish Sodhi. So Warner has the matchup to take down both the bowlers. If you look at same Pakistan had Imad Wasim as a left arm spinner and they had Shadab Khan as a leg spinner. So Warner had that matchup. Similar, he will be coming against New Zealand as well. So the new ball spell of Trent Bolt or Tim Southey or Adam Millen will be vital. They need to get Warner early on, or else it will be tough for New Zealand to come back, especially the way Warner has been batting in last few matches. He has scored 350s in this tournament. He has been batting superbly. He has been the best batsman as well in the World Cup. So Warner's wicket will be vital for New Zealand and the whole match, where the match will be shifting to New Zealand's hand or for the Australia's hand.
You are right that David Warner is a world class player, and when he comes, like when he start performing, he just performs and everything just goes down the drain. So, as you mentioned, that David Warner will be the biggest link for the Australia. Who do you think from will be from New Zealand side in tomorrow's match?
New Zealand, I think it will be Glenn Phillips, even though he hasn't contributed much. But if he can get go, he'll be a really dangerous player. And Kane Williamson having produced a match winning effort, is going through a tough time, mainly because that elbow injury is really hurting him. That might be the reason why he hasn't performed much in IPL and the T20 World Cup, because he has the quality. We have seen what he has done for Sunrisers in 2018. He led from the front with bat and as a captain. So he's a proven player, but in the last few months, he has been going through a tough time. So in the batting department, it will be Glenn Phillips, because he needs to get some runs. We can't rely every time on Darren Mitchell or Martin Guptill to do the job. And they might play Tim Seifert as well, because Devon Conway is injured. Tim Seifert will be the wicketkeeper for tomorrow's final. So from the batting unit, I think Glenn Phillips, and bowling, I would say Trent Bolt, especially with his new ball skill. He might be bowling 2 overs in power play. So if he can get David Warner early, then it will be putting massive pressure on Australia, and they can use Ish Sodhi and Mitchell Santner in the middle overs safely. Because if you look at the last match, Mitchell Santner bowled just 1 over, mainly because England had lots of left-handers. But coming into Australia, they don't have much left-handers in middle order, because they have Steve Smith, Mitchell Marsh, Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis, etc. They have one Matthew Wade at number 7 and David Warner at top order. So if they can get Warner early, they can introduce Mitchell Santner and Sodhi, and with the long boundaries in Dubai, these guys can take advantage and get few important wickets in middle overs.
You are right that like the spinners can really do a job if they get David Warner out early. And I hope that Trent Bolt, I guess Aaron Finch will be the player who will get out by Trent Bolt, because the left arm bowlers and Aaron Finch's inability to play them properly. So I think he's the one that get Aaron Finch out. So let's move like towards the like New Zealand and Australia are rivals, but Australia is also rivals by England. So how do you see that team's performance this year? Because they have totally played the game which they had intended to play. Like they changed the whole pattern around 5 years ago in 2016 after the 2015 World Cup. So how do you rate England's performance this year?
England.
Yeah.
I think we need to credit England a lot, because they had lots of injury issues. They didn't have Geoffrey Archer, Sam Curran, Ben Stokes, Tymal Mills got injured during the group stage. Jason Roy got injured during the final group stage. So they had lots of injury issues, and the death bowling was really weak as well. Without Geoffrey Archer, the death bowling is really weak. So that was the huge miss for England as a team. They played very good cricket through the tournament, especially led by with the bat by Josh Butler. He had a great tournament till the group stage. So he played some fantastic knocks as well that made England into the group stage more easier. So we need to credit England a lot. They'll be getting a better squad for the next T20 World Cup if everyone are fit. Like Ben Stokes, then Geoffrey Archer will be there, Sam Curran, Tymal Mills, Jason Roy, etc. So it was tough tournament for them, yes, in the way during these injury issues, etc. But as a team, if you look at the results, they have played some very good cricket. They won 4 matches. They just lost 1 game in the group stage, but in the semi-final as well, they were near to the final. Apart from the last 4-5 overs, because they don't have that death over specialist. Even though Jordan is their death over specialist, but he has been going through tough time. Recent past, he was going for lots of runs. So even Chris Wokes is mainly for a new ball or in power play. So we need to credit England more what they have done in this tournament with all these injuries.
You are right that England does not have a death over specialist. If Geoffrey Archer would have been there, he would have performed really well, I guess. And England have shown that the investment which they have made since 4 to 5 years, it's paying off now, because they just missed the World Cup trophy by an inch, and I guess they will come back really harder in Australia because England is really like the hunting is really a hunting team in Australia whenever they play. So I think the Ashes, which is coming up right now, will be a really good series because Ben Stokes is also back again, and I guess England would like to win the Ashes after a long wait. So what do you say about that? Like, does England have a chance winning Ashes this time, or Australia will dominate again?
I think it will be tough for England. If you look at in Australia used to dominate Ashes at Australia, and they have the batting unit with Steve Smith there, Pat Cummins or Josh Hazlewood, minus Labuschagne, and one is really dangerous at home conditions. So it will be tough for England. They might win one game or draw few test matches, something like that. But it will be really a mountain task for England to win the series. If they do, it will be a great job. And they don't have that pace also. They don't have Jofra Archer to imitate Australian batters, and you need a spinner as well. If you look at India versus Australia last year, Ashwin made a big impact because is a world class spinner, but England does not have that kind of world class spinner. They had Graham Swan earlier, but right now they don't have that great spinner who can trouble few batters or give that control. So it will be really tough for England to win the series. Maybe they can win one test match or draw one or two test match if it is a batting friendly, or if it is 600 plus. So it will be tough for England.
Yeah, you are right that England would have a better chance if they have a spinner. Just a second, like camera is just yeah. So England has a difficult chance, I guess, because that yeah, as you said, that spinner will be a vital thing for England in the Ashes. But what do you think? Like Australia not announced its squad yet, but have a chance to like which player like Marnus Labuschagne is a perfect example of how a player should play against any team because he can bowl, he can bat, and bat for long time. So, what do you think? How will Australian players fold out because they have been in a bubble for a long time now? And how do you think that will happen?
I think they'll be getting a very good rest after the World Cup final, and Ashes. They have at least 2 or 3 weeks to prepare, so they'll be getting ready as well. And few players has been playing in the domestic tournament as well. Tim Payne or other minus Labuschagne, etc., has been playing these domestic cricket matches, so they are getting really prepared. The player to watch out will be Steve Smith, especially he get best out of him against England. We have seen what he has done in 2019 series. He was like a run machine for Australia. So, and he's the greatest test player of this generation as well. So, even though India stopped him in the first two test matches, mainly due to the quality of Ashwin, but England are missing that kind of a bowler to stop Steve Smith for a very long time. Maybe one or two test matches, but stopping him for 5 test matches will be a really hard job, especially in these conditions.
Yeah, you are right that Ashwin did the magic in the first two tests, but Steven Smith is a great player to watch out for because he has that technique and has that charisma that everyone just loves him whenever he plays. So, yeah, you are right that Steven Smith can be a player to watch out for in the Ashes. And if we see, like, which team did you expect in the like? Let's come back to the World Cup. Which team do you see? Yeah, or did you see to make an impact and has not made one except India?
I think most of the teams did so well in this World Cup. Most disappointing was India and West Indies. Both the teams really disappointed. Most of the cricket fans, South Africa, Sri Lanka, etc., did they played some fantastic cricket, especially with the experience or some of the youth players. They did so well, but most disappointing was India and second will be West Indies. Even though it was tough conditions, they lost the toss most of the times, but they are the giants of T20 cricket. Kiran Pollard was disappointing in few matches. Then Chris Gayle, we all know he had a tough time. Then London Simmons or Nicholas Puran or Hetmeyer, etc. They had the players, but they didn't come as a group to make into the semi-final. So it will be India and West Indies.
You are right that West Indies disappointed a lot of fans, and I was also disappointed because before the World Cup, I thought that West Indies is the only team after India which can like disturb the party of any team in the pool and they can easily qualify for the semi-finals because they have been qualifying for it for a long time, but unfortunately they are like lost the group stages match and they were out. So what do you think about Pakistan? Because Pakistan is a team which has just played a tremendous cricket in this World Cup, and no one like gave them that hype which other teams got. But Pakistan showed a lot of courage this time.
Yes, we need to credit Pakistan a lot because what happened before the tournament, they resigned the coach, bowling coach, the new CEO. Two series got cancelled, etc. And coming to the World Cup, they won all the matches in the group stage. They fought really hard in the semi-final as well, except that drop catch and few overs they batted so poorly, especially after the power play. So if they could have done even more better in those areas, they should have been in the final as well. So, and this is a young team as well. Apart from Shoaib Malik and Mohammad Hafiz, everyone is a newcomer or playing World Cup or World Cup semi-final for the first time. So they had that inexperience factor as well, and the pressure situation they couldn't handle. So, but Pakistan played excellent cricket. Pakistan, South Africa, and Sri Lanka are the three most impressive teams. If you look at so far, which all teams knocked out in the tournament.
Yes, you're correct that South Africa, Sri Lanka, these were the teams like they surprised me a lot because Sri Lanka had a team which was quite inexperienced, but they literally played out of their skin and they really performed well. Manindo Asaranga was one of the players who carried the whole team on his shoulders with Charita Sri and they performed well. But South Africa, we saw them as the underdogs and they just missed the semi-final berth because they just couldn't restrict England below 132. So, what do you think about South Africa? Can we see this new setup creating new wonders in the coming series and the next year T20 World Cup?
Yes, South Africa has improved a lot as a team. If you look at, even though they missed Faf for AB, Chris Morris, Imran Tahir, etc., but as a group, especially the batting of Adam Makram and the bowling unit with Shamsi, Nokia, Rabada, who had a average tournament but picked a few important wickets. Then Maharaj was there. Then Miller played an exceptional knock against Sri Lanka. So as a group, they played some good cricket, and moving forward, they have very good youngsters coming through the ranks as well. There is Yamin and Malan is there, Kyle Vernian is there. There are very good guys who is waiting for chances as well. So it's a very good news for South Africa as a group to move forward the 2022 World Cup or 2023 ODI World Cup. So we need to have more stronger teams to get better matches, better close finishes, and cricket needs that as well.
Yeah, you are right that South Africa perform well, and we need those players who can perform. And last 2 3 questions from my side. And so as I told you before that I want to talk about Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid, the RR connection. So what do you think that India, like New Zealand, is touring India for 3 T20Is and 2 Test matches? So how do you think that will fold out to be? Because a whole generation of Shastri Kohli era comes to an end, and Rohit and Dravid era is coming up. So what do you think about that?
I think it will be exciting time, especially there are lots of youngsters going to play in the New Zealand series. We'll be seeing a almost a new side. There are lots of inclusions like Raturaj, Venkatesh Iyer, Mohammad Siraj, Avesh Khan, etc. And there are few other guys like Ravi Bishnoi. There are few others as well, Abdul Samad or Sanju Samson, etc. waiting for their chances as well in the T20 team. So really exciting times for Indian cricket. Really hoping that they plays a fearless brand of cricket as well, and we might see some transition phase as well. If Rahane or Pujara etc. underperforms in next two series, there are guys like Shubman Gill, Bihari etc. waiting for chances. So it's going to be a very important 1 year for Indian cricket under Rohit Sharma in T20 format. We will be playing a T20 World Cup next year. There are lots of youngsters, as I mentioned earlier, for waiting for the chances. So, and there are lots of T20s. So everyone will be getting the opportunities to perform and show their talent to the world and selectors. So, really exciting times coming for Indian cricket.
Yeah, you are right. That exciting time, and this 1 year will be a kind of path for India to lift the T20 World Cup trophy and establish itself as the king of cricket in this 1 year. So, as we know that the king were New Zealand, like the Test champion were New Zealand. So, what do you think that? Who will win? Like, I want to ask personally that who will win tomorrow's match according to you? Because if we see the odds and evens, as you said, that New Zealand, if any teams win the toss, New Zealand wins the toss, New Zealand can have a better chance. But according to you, like, what are hurdles that okay, this team will win for sure?
I think Australia start as this favorite because they have the better unit. And Devon Conway's injury will be a big factor because New Zealand don't have left-hander, and this Adam Samba will be more dangerous to right-hander. So that might make New Zealand more tougher. But as I said earlier, toss will be a vital factor tomorrow. If New Zealand can win the toss, then match will be evenly contest. We might see a close finish as well. But if Australia wins the toss, it will be tough for New Zealand to come back unless they post something around 170, 180 to have a go at Australian batting unit with Trent Bolt, Adam Milne, then Tim Southey, you saw the Jimmy Neesham, Mitchell Santner, Darren Mitchell, etc. So it will be a mountain task if New Zealand lost the toss, but it all depends on that day as well. Anything can happen in knockouts. We know, I think 90 or 95 percentage of fans didn't predict a Australia versus New Zealand final. Everyone was saying India versus England or India versus West Indies or West Indies versus England, etc. But no one predicted these two teams to come into the final. Maybe there might be a few people, but majority of people didn't expect this to happen. So anything can happen in these knockout games or in the ICC tournaments.
Yeah, you are right that no one predicted that we would see our Trans-Tasman rivalry, and it has happened. So, thank you, Johns, for your time, and I wish you luck with your future prospects. And I wish that you just grow and grow, and we will see you on TV one day, and we'll see that hey, I took the interview of this person. So we'll be very happy for you. Thank you, Johns, for your time, and thank you for like agreeing for our interview.
Thanks a lot for inviting me into this show. It's a pleasure to talk cricket with you. Hopefully, we can do many more shows in coming months or coming years together. Hopefully, we'll be having a great cricket season ahead. There are lots of exciting series coming through, IPL coming, then there's a T20 World Cup as well. So, exciting times for cricket fans as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, we'll try to do many shows with you because the knowledge which you bring to the table is just unmatchable, and you have that correct ingredients to be a like a cricket expert. So I think that we'll be really happy to join you next time. Thank you, Johns, for your time.